good people? This is S. Foster, and this is going to be a double feature podcast, man. This is going to be episode 203 of the Stolen Time podcast and episode 38 of the 28 Minutes of Podcast. Got a very special guest on with me today, and that is the homie, man, Willie McGee. You know what I'm saying? The athletic director of Saint Vincent Saint Mary, man. How you feeling today, man? You good?
I feel blessed, man. I feel blessed. I cannot complain, man. I am a newly I have a fiance within the last month, and I've just had my first child a little over a week ago, Thursday. So just blessed right now, man. Feeling a lot of love, man. In a place I've never been before, so I'm in the process of learning new things, and that's trying to be the best me, man.
That's what's up, man. Congratulations on all of that, man. Seen it, I follow you on social media, so congratulations on those things, man. It's always a blessing. I mean, I remember those days, man. Mine going on 14 and 12 this year. So
Congratulations,
been out here
congratulations, man.
parenting for a while, man. So it's just wild,
It is, man.
man. Appreciate that,
Priorities
man. It's just
changed
wild,
instantly,
man.
man.
Watching them go through puberty and everything.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I can. I look forward to that, man. I
Oh,
look forward.
yes, man. You're instant dad right off the rip.
Right. Things change immediately, man. Me and my fiance spoke about, man. It's crazy how you can just instantly start loving somebody you've never met. You know what I mean? But when you see, I had opportunity to obviously be in the delivery room, and as soon as I seen him come out and laid in my fiance arms, man, it's just a love that you can't explain, man. So happy to be in this position, man. This is a place I prayed to be in growing up. So want to take full advantage and enjoy and be in the moment. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure, man. I had the pleasure of watching both of my boys being delivered, man, and
Yeah.
it's truly a blessing. And you so right, like as soon as you see them, it's just like, yo, I don't even know this person. It's like you try to bond with them while they're in the belly and everything,
Right.
but it's just like when they hear, it's different, when you just got this thing where you would jump in front of a train for them. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, it's wild how that happens. But our parents, like they told us this type stuff. Like
Right.
they tell you, like you don't understand that love until they get here. So man, definitely, man, congratulations on you and your fiance. And what you end up having, it was a girl, right?
No, a little boy. A little boy. Ilya Richard Du Bois McGee. I end up naming him after my older brother, who's like my father.
The boy.
Breaking
Oh
up.
yeah, you definitely see that. We'll get into that a little later in the pod because you could definitely see that in more in the game.
Yeah.
But the first order of business, man, like it's interesting like how people end up getting at certain places. I told my story of how I ended up going to Fairmont State, but how did you ended up going to Fairmont State, man, playing QB?
Man, honestly, it's definitely an interesting story, man. You have to understand, I'm originally from Chicago. Basketball is all I knew. Coming from
Mhm.
growing up in the Chicago Bulls era, Michael Jordan. Then my brother moved me to Ohio, and I always wanted to be like Michael Jordan and my brother. My brother went to the University of Akron to play basketball on a scholarship, and I want to go to college and be like him. So basketball was everything to me. So when I moved up to Ohio, um, actually the first sport I played was baseball, but then after that it was basketball. So it was a natural love, man. I struggled in school a little bit, so that was my motivating force to get back on track to continue to be able to play basketball. And honestly, my first year ever playing basketball here in Akron was with LeBron James. You know what I mean? So just the stories that start from younger that really grow. Um, and we end up playing AAU ball together, end up going to Saint Vincent Saint Mary together, won multiple championships. But I hurt my shoulder. I ended up playing football the first time my freshman year in high school. I was always the biggest kid. So my brother being from Chicago, he said, "Man, you're not gonna play Pee Wee because you might get hurt."
Hmm.
When I should have been playing like B team, the second level of or A team, the second level of Pee Wee, I would have had to play varsity my first year ever playing. And he said, "No, you're not doing that. Stick to basketball." So when I got to St. V, Brian played football. My friend Shion played football. So I chose to go out and play football with him. End up dislocating my shoulder my freshman year, maybe 7 games out of 10, 7 games into the freshman year, and end up hurting my shoulder. Heard it again during basketball season. Heard it again the first game of AAU, my freshman going to sophomore year. So I had to have surgery. So I missed all the football sophomore year, but I still wanted to be there around my friends. So I was a water boy. And so our quarterback ended up getting tendonitis, and they needed somebody to throw. And I hurt my non-throwing shoulder playing tight end, bad pass, it popped out. So with that, I ended up throwing the ball a little bit. We got a new coach my sophomore year, and he asked me to come back out my junior year. And I tell him like, no, my mom said I came here to play basketball. I'm trying to get to college. I'm not trying to do that. Now, and he just spoke life into me like, man, I think you got opportunity. You throwing the ball well. Just come out and try. So fast forward to my junior year, first day of tryouts, I didn't go. I didn't even go to be the water boy. I'm at home playing video games, getting ready for basketball. He called and said, man, I really like you to play. Now, mind you, I enjoyed throwing the ball. You know what I'm saying? So with that, I said, man, you need to talk to my brother. You need to talk to my brother. You talk my brother into it. He can talk my mom into it. Then I can play. So I gave my brother's number. He talked to him. And, I went out. My mom gave me the blessing. My brother did. I went out the second day of 2 days, and I learned the position, man. You got to understand, when I first started, I struggled taking snaps, remembering the cadence, remember calling plays, the wide receiver run in. I used to have him call the play. I knew it. I can conceptualize it, but I couldn't verbalize it. So then I had him calling the plays, and then, I got to it. Then eventually the offensive coordinator like, no, you need to call the plays, because if you need to call an audible, you need to know and be able to adjust. So I went through that whole process, came in as a junior, rotated early, and then ended up getting the start nod as when the playoffs started. We made a run and made a run to the state playoffs. And then honestly, after that, man, once I hurt my shoulder in basketball, I was never really the same guy. I came in with a great freshman class, obviously, with LeBron, NBA player, Drew Joyce, who played multiple years overseas, all-time assist leader at University of Akron, Sheon Cotton, who came in as a big-time basketball player, but ended up being an All-American in football and went to the University of Ohio State. So I came in with an awesome freshman class. And in basketball, I felt like I was just as good as any of them, and played varsity as a freshman. But once I hurt my shoulder, I became a role player, man. I really couldn't do what I felt like I could. I missed my sophomore summer, a freshman going into sophomore year, and I just really felt behind. So I had to do what I had to do to play. I became a role player, defensive guy, rebounder. So I didn't really love the game because I wasn't able to do what I did before I got hurt. So once the opportunity kind of presented itself as going to play football, man, it was kind of like a no-brainer. But then we get a snowstorm my senior year, and I missed like 3 or 4 visits. You know what I mean? So the only visits I really went on was to Howard University, which was an amazing visit. I wanted to go to HBCU, and they said they had me like on the middle of their board at quarterback, and I was there with like a couple Florida guys. It was like package deals. So the quarterback that was in that group, we hanging out. He told me he didn't plan on coming to Howard, but he had 3 receivers that was dependent on Howard. So he committed to coming so they could get the receivers. Then he was going to back out at the end before he signed. You know what I mean? So that's learning the game like that. And he was ahead of me on the board. So once they asked me to come in and speak to the coaches after the little visit, they said they wanted to be a preferred walk-on because they had 2 people commit ahead of me, and they had 1 guy coming back from the following year. So with that, it was just a crazy situation because I love the visit. That's where I wanted to go. I like DC. But then I went on a visit on Fairmont State University. Actually, one of the coaches at Saint V was Coach Lanham, was his brother. I don't know if you remember Coach Lanham, the offensive line coach, and he started recruiting me to Fairmont. And I went. I didn't love it, I'll be honest, but it was an opportunity where I was in my life, where my family was. I had to receive a scholarship. You know what I'm saying? In order to go to college. So I didn't want my family to have to pay for me to go to school. So it was really the only option I had at the time. Howard wanted to be a preferred walk-on. Fairmont offered me money. I missed Teal and 2 other colleges being able to go visit. So really that's the only option I really had, if I'm going to be honest with you. Now, to be honest, totally honest, LeBron understood that the situation I was in, and he offered to pay my first year to go to Howard as a preferred walk-on, and then trusted I would get a scholarship after that, knowing I would work and I love the game. And I
Mhm.
considered it, but I didn't want to go to school on somebody else's dime. I felt like I had an opportunity to go to school for free at Fairmont, even if it's not ideally the place I wanted to, but I thought that's where God was leading me, and I wanted to be able to do it on my own and say I did it on my own. So, and that's how I ended up at Fairmont, man. Walked out on faith, but really blessed. We're blessed to receive a scholarship. Everybody want to go D1, as did I. But I ended up getting a scholarship to go D2, and really only played 2 years of football. And I was learning the position, man. I was still raw, had a strong arm, could throw it deep, but couldn't throw the intermediate route. My feet weren't right. I threw you the ball, the slants, the digs,
Yeah.
stuff like that wasn't on
Mhm.
point consistently because my feet. I was still learning as I got to Fairmont for real, man. And I didn't love the game of football. I'll be honest with you. I love basketball, but I but I but football was my opportunity to go to college, so I took advantage of it. And I learned to love the game of football once I got there, playing with people that love football like I love basketball and respected the game. And at the end of the day, man, after them winter workouts, you had to love it. All the work you put in, you want to see the payoff, man. That winter workout was different. In the winter, I'm normally
Oh
playing
yeah, for sure.
basketball, so I never went through that.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Like it's like people don't realize when it comes to like football, man. Like I see me. What I'm saying, I played ball in high school, but I was more used as like a, what I'm saying, rebounder, defensive player. What I'm
Right,
saying? Like I had a high school coach who, what I'm saying, like if I tried to shoot the ball, what I'm saying, he pulled me out the game. And
right.
then like it was more of like, so I couldn't really love it like I wanted to until I started playing AAU ball. And then my
Uh-huh.
AAU coach let me, he let me play my game. And like my
Uh,
high school coach heard, oh man, I heard you dropping 30 in AAU ball. I was like, but he let me play my game. Like in high school, you don't let me play my game. So I kind of didn't love basketball like that because of my high school career didn't go the way that I wanted it to. So like
mhm.
football was more of like the sport that I was just like really good at. But by the time I got to Fairmont State, I missed two football seasons.
Really?
See, I didn't get to Fairmont State till I was already 21. Yeah, because
Oh,
see,
okay. I didn't know that.
I had the great, yeah, I had the grade problem. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
I didn't realize it till it got really to my senior year, like halfway through my senior year, when I realized like, yo, like this, it's not gonna go as according as planned. Like, I talked to the coaches at
Hey,
North
Duke,
Carolina State, and
block it out.
they're telling me like, yo, you got to get a 1250 on your SAT for us to even have you eligible to even get a scholarship. So then I had to start looking smaller because the letters from like Vanderbilt start going away, the letters from Wake Forest start going away. So I ended up just graduating and going to I went to a Greenville Tech. It's just a technical school. They don't have no teams or nothing like that. So that's
Hmm.
1 year missing football.
Right.
And then I ended up taking the next semester of school off because I was just like, me and my mom, we had our little stuff. So I was like, I need to get my own spot. So I just
Uh-huh.
like, forget it. I'm not gonna worry about it. And then my coach, one of my high school coaches, he's coaching down at Coastal Carolina now. He's like, yo, we really need to
They
get
had
you
a
into
good year.
school, man. He's like, yeah, yeah, they did.
Hmm.
And he's like, yo, he's like, I know a guy California, I know a guy in Kansas, and I know a guy in West Virginia. So, I was in the circumstances where I ain't had no money for no plane ticket. So I was like, well, I could drive to West Virginia.
Mm.
So, I sent them my highlight tape, which I played defensive back and receiver.
Uh-huh.
And they told me, I mean, you already know, you got Andre,
Uh-huh.
what I'm saying, stud. You
Right.
got VJ, stud.
Right.
So it's just like he's looking at me like he was like, well, you play both, so I'll just put you at receiver. He
Mm.
was like, because we need more help at the receiver position than the defensive back position. And so that's how I ended up. They ended up giving me a partial
Hmm.
scholarship, up there, and then everything that transpired up there transpired. But like, man, that's dope, man. And then for you to be able to say like, yo, like I want to do this on my own. Like people don't understand. Like that's one of those things where that's something that you have to live with within yourself. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And knowing that you went up there and you did it on your own, when you had an opportunity to go somewhere else and someone would help you,
Yeah.
that's dope, man. That's dope. But
Yeah.
man, how did
And
you
I think it helped me who I am today, man. That's, you know, And it's stuff that I often talk about with kids, man. And now it's a thin line because you don't want to have too much pride and miss a great opportunity. But then on the other hand,
Mhm.
you have to believe in yourself and bet on yourself enough that you can get out of it what you need to get out of it and be able to do it. And I straddled that line at that time, but I believe I made the right decision in hindsight, looking back on it, man. Um, because a lot of kids don't take advantage of opportunities that's in front of them, and they miss out on stuff. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So I've thought about that, but I also thought I got out of it what I needed to get out of it, and that was a college degree and great friendships. Man, I have friends there that are family to me now, that are friends for life, and I feel like I made the right decisions, man. Now football didn't work out the way I felt like I wanted it to, but there was no guarantee that it would have at Howard either. You know what I mean? But because at the end
Mhm.
of the day, I didn't love the game, and it took me a while to love the game. And I think that was my biggest problem going into it. I just wanted to be able to receive a scholarship because basketball was my first love. But I ended up loving the game. Then I felt like it was a little too late by then. But those things that I had to deal with myself. Obviously, if I would went to Howard, not loving the game with more options out there, I could have faced the same thing. But yet again,
Mhm.
I may have not graduated and things like that. So I just tried to keep my priorities in perspective.
Hey man, that sound like Iverson, man. Iverson loved the game of football, but he was just like, I have a great opportunity in basketball. So, he
Right,
ended up playing a sport that he initially didn't love. You know what I'm
right.
saying? But like you have to do like people that was in our positions back then, like you have to do what you gotta do. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like football
absolutely.
was like my ticket into getting into school, and football was your ticket in getting you
Getting
into
into school.
school.
Right.
And yeah, but I never had the pleasure, like we'll get into that a little later, but even watching more than the game, like I really didn't get to see like everything that you were specialized in, like on the court. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you just ended up playing on like one of the greatest high school teams ever, and the run that y'all had. Oh, and another thing. So how did you get? So you come from a situation. I don't know how y'all did on the football field, but as far as basketball, I mean, like you won 3 state championships and a national championship.
Right.
So you used to winning. Like y'all didn't really lose any games. Now, as
Right.
far as football, like how was y'all on the football field? And I asked that because like Fairmont State, like man, there was a lot of L's up there, man.
No, you're absolutely right, man. I wasn't used to losing. Honestly, when I first started playing, my freshman year, I believe we were above 500. I got hurt in game 7. We had 3 games left, and we was above 500. My sophomore year, I didn't play. We didn't make the playoffs. And then our junior year, when I played quarterback, we made it to the state semifinals. And mind you, we weren't
Mhm.
supposed to make the playoffs. I think we ended up finishing 6-4, but we had to win the last game of the playoffs, and we ended up losing to Walsh Jesuit, which was a powerhouse, one of our rivals. We lost in a mud bowl at their spot, and that Saturday morning, my coach called me and was like, "Man, we got in. We were the 8th seed, so we had to go to the number 1 seed Manchester and upset them in the first round of the playoffs at their home spot. You know what I mean? So then we went on a
Mhm.
run after that and made it all the way to the state semifinals and end up losing, man. Had some bad luck, turned the ball over. We was playing on our side of the half, the whole first half. One of our best players, Jared Villers, who went to Western Illinois, I believe, or something in Illinois, and started linebacker as a freshman. Ended up getting a concussion. It was just a bad day, man. I had a couple picks, turnovers, and it was a real windy day, and it was just a bad day. We lost in the state semi. Then our junior year, we end up struggling our junior year. Honestly, Brian didn't come out. He focused on basketball. Our star receiver was Brian Glasper, a freshman, and I went from starting as a quarterback to us changing the offense because we weren't built like we were built the year before, and we started running the wing T. We started running at people, and they end up putting me in like tight end and flanker or something like that to block. So it was just, I played quarterback for like a year and a half. Then we changed the offense to best suit the team, and then it was different. So when I got to Fairmont, man, it was difficult not playing because I never not played. But it was also getting redshirted my freshman year, and then it was difficult losing like that, man. But it almost became to like, man, the expectation wasn't really to win. And you question some of your coaches and what they had us doing. So and then you get out there and some of the play calling and stuff. So when you stop believing in your coaches and stuff, man, and losers starting to pile up, then it's like you don't expect to win, even if you got a winning mentality. You know what I'm saying? Uh, then you have to be self motivated. You know what I mean? So I kind of went through some of that. You know, then you have friends that were playing that kind of seen the same things you seen, and it was difficult to say the least, man. And then you in a little town, you know, where it wasn't necessarily ideal. Then you make your own fun, and then you kind of start being dependent on your friends around you. You become closer to them, and that's trying to survive and make it through, rather than enjoying moments and stuff, because you ain't really have a lot of positive moments.
Oh yeah, man. Like one of the things that really got me because I came from a high school where, you know what I'm saying, my let me see, we was because I was on varsity all 4 years, we was 49-9
Oh
for
yeah, that's a
four
lot of
years,
winning.
right? And so I go there and y'all had to play North Greenville, right?
Uh
Y'all
huh.
had to come down to South Carolina and see. I came home that weekend because I was like, yo, that's where I'm from. Like I'm from this area. So, you know what I'm saying? I go to the game and like I can't remember, but we ended up losing. And so we go back and there was a but at the end of the year we had like a end of the year meeting. And the coach was like, well, we put North Greenville on the schedule. And he was like, the year before they was like 1-10 or something. He was like, I didn't know they was gonna be like, I think they won like 8 or 9 games, and it was
That
just
year.
like, hold on. So it's like you scheduled them because they was a losing team,
Right.
but then they flipped the script, and I was just like this is the way y'all thinking. Like this is the mentality of like you telling us that you scheduled a team that was bad the year before,
Right.
so that I was just like that type of mentality, man. Like
It was
that's not
different,
what you want
right?
to go into.
Right.
Yeah.
It was different, and I never knew that, but it's not surprising because I feel like that's what they gave us as coaches, man. Honestly, they never had that mentality. Honestly, I felt like the best players didn't play. You know what I mean? And I felt like they sacrificed games for people. You know what I mean? Where I felt like we could have been better. Um, and I come from winning programs and some bomb coaches. Like my football coaches was fire, man. We had my head coach in high school played for Miami Hurricanes and Miami Dolphins. Winning mentality, man. My defensive
Hmm.
coordinator played. He actually went to West Liberty, but played uh, from Canton, Ohio, but played for the Green Bay Packers in the Green Bay Packers Hall of Fame. So I was surrounded by greatness and winning mentalities
Hmm.
and great schemes and ability to adjust and stuff. Then you go to Fairmont, and I didn't see that, man. And so it played on my mind. Like the worst thing you can do is start questioning your coaches, man. And when you start doing that, you're not believing in what they're doing, so you're not going 100% because you don't see you're not going to reap the benefits of the hard work. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
that I think that's what we dealt with at Fairmont. All the while being blessed to have the opportunity to be there, but then when you get there, man,
Hmm.
it's just not what you expected. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure. And they put a button on it because you wasn't in the receiver stuff with us. Like I remember we was we coming out camp and stuff, and like Coach Bromfield, shout out to him, man. He's coaching at Virginia now.
Right.
But and I always thought he was a good coach, but I think that I think that now I don't mean to speak for him, but it seemed like he didn't really believe in like the other coaching staff, and he had to kind of like do his own thing.
Right.
And like I remember him telling me like, "Yo, I need you to help." I was like, "What you mean?" He was like, "Cause we got guys in here who don't don't know the stances very well. They're not doing good at their takeoffs." And he was like, "I see you, advanced at that." So he was like, "Can you help me coach these guys up?" And I'm like, "Yo, are we in college? Like, what you mean you want me to help?" I'm like, I'm coming in as a redshirt freshman. I ain't played football in 2 years, and you
Right.
want me to help you, coach these dudes up. And it's like, who y'all recruiting? So
Right.
it was just like it got wild, man. But I definitely appreciate the opportunity because like what I'm saying, I got some friendships from, going up there and all that type stuff. And met my ex up there, got 2 kids.
Hmm.
So you know what I'm saying? A lot came from just going to Fairmont State.
Right.
So those
Absolutely.
but those yeah, those were some good times, man.
And
But
to say that, to say, man, Darius Green just said, "What's up, man?" He's my roommate right now, man. And so he was
oh,
just saying
Darius,
he
I
here
remember
cooking, man.
Darius.
Yeah, he said,
Oh
"What's up,
man,
man?"
tell him I said what's up, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
absolutely.
remember Darius. Darius was from Georgia.
No, no, Darius from Akron. Darius is from
Oh,
he went
Darius
to the
from
high
Akron.
school
Who
I
am I
went to.
thinking about?
Yeah,
Oh man,
Green.
That's what's
Yeah, they
up.
end up move. I think he came in at court. He came in at quarterback, and they moved him to receiver.
Oh, okay. That's what's
Yeah,
up, man. Tell
yeah,
Darius I said what's going on.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, so how did you ended up getting the AD job and like did you apply for it or were you like called? Like how did that happen?
Man, well, that's a funny story, man. It's funny how things happen, man. So honestly, uh, after I got my degree in Fairmont, I came back and got a job for 1 year. Then I went and got my master's. I GA'd with the men's basketball team at the University of Akron and got my degree in sports science and administration.
Okay.
And was with them for 2 years, man. Had a great time. And that's where my passion for coaching really got started. Well, honestly, my year after I graduated from Fairmont, my head coach at Saint V, my last 2 years, Coach Joyce, who coached us growing up through AAU ball. He's the head coach there. And he asked me to be the freshman coach or the the varsity assistant. I didn't want to do it, so I told my brother. My brother stepped up. He's been doing it ever since then. He's been going on 14 years now, or
Oh,
maybe
that's what's up.
17 years. So with that, um, I ended up taking the freshman job that year and ended up loving it. So I had my first year out, I'm coaching freshmen, working at Oriental House Community Correction Facility. And then my second year out, I take the GA job at the University of Akron with the men's basketball team. End up going to the MAC championship twice, won 1 year, went to NCAA tournament, played Notre Dame, and lost a year in the championship. So with that, once I got out, I I ended up working at the Akron Urban League. I don't know if you remember Marlon Burnett. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
he ended up getting with a tutoring program in Texas that was expanding worldwide, and he ended up expanding to Akron. So I quit the Urban League and ended up working uh, with him with this tutoring program, but it only lasted 6 months. Kind of folded. So I end up. Now I'm kind of looking for work, man. And honestly, Coach Vincent, who was the assistant coach at Fairmont, ended up getting a job at Chowan University out in North Carolina. And he was the head coach there. And his second year, he asked me to come on and be assistant coach. And I was kind of hesitant. I was making like 35,000 a year out of college. And going there, I would have had to make 19 my first year, no benefits. Then the second year I made 25 with benefits. So I was kind of nervous. I felt like it was a step back, but it's something I wanted to do after coaching a year of 2 years of high school ball. Because once I got done GN, I went back to St. V, coach JV. So 2 years of high school ball, GA, 2 years at University of Akron. Yeah, it's something I want to do. I want to coach college basketball at that time. So I felt like it was an opportunity. So I went out there. Enjoyed it, man. It actually kind of reminded me of Fairmont, small town, not much to do, but I ended up enjoying the opportunity to coach. We played in an awesome conference in the CIAA, the HBCU conference. We were the only non-HBCU in it, and it was just great atmospheres, great talent, man, great athleticism, and I enjoyed it. But I kind of felt like I started hitting my ceiling, honestly. When him and the other assistant went out to recruit, I had to stay on campus and run the academic portion, run study halls, make sure kids was going to class, stuff like that. I went there wanting to coach, but I ended up going there and doing a lot of administration work and not knowing
Mhm.
that's what kind of prepared me for this athletic director position, which I didn't love at the time, but I ended up appreciating during that time and understanding if I did the administration part, that he can concentrate on coaching and do what he needed to do. So getting the hotel room, the food, helping with schedule, learning how to do schedule, ordering gear, stuff like that, invoices, stuff like that. I got prepared for that in those 2 years. And I'm proud to say my last year there, being over the academic portion of it, we won the award for the highest academics on the boys' side. We had a 3.4 GPA. You know what I mean? And
That's what's
honestly,
up.
that was the best season he had at the time. So, no surprise. If you discipline in the classroom, it translates over to the playing surface, whether it be football, basketball, tennis. If you got some disciplined kids in the classroom and they can come out and play on the basketball court, we made it to the second round of the CIAA conference. But at that time, I was ready to get out of there. I felt like I hit my ceiling. I felt like I didn't have an opportunity to network and get out and meet other coaches. I never went on to scout any of the kids, but when they came to campus, I was the one showing them around. I was the speaking point. I played with LeBron, played high school ball, GA, this and this, played college football, but I was never able to go out and network and put an eye on talent or network with any coaches so I can expand and possibly get another job somewhere else. So I felt like I kind of hit my ceiling. And after a little controversy with pay and stuff like that, I started looking for jobs back home, man. And it was an opportunity to coach Akron East. I'm from the east side of Akron, even though I went to Saint Vincent Saint Mary. I had an opportunity to go to East, and I got the head coaching job at the high school there. So with that, I end up put my 2 weeks in at the University of Chihuahua. End up taking the job out at East High School. Came back, and it's funny, man. So I'm meeting with the AD for the first time, trying to set up my schedule, my open gym, so we can start practice and stuff like that. And my phone is ringing off the hook. It's me and the new girls coach. We come in at the same time. My phone's ringing off the hook. I'm thinking something wrong. And my girlfriend at the time, I walk out and asked her, everything all right? What's going on? My sister-in-law had called me. Alumni of St. V had called me, but I didn't pick up. So she's like, yeah, your sister-in-law called and said that the AD at Saint Vincent Saint Mary has just stepped down. He's taking a job somewhere else, and they want you to apply. I'm like, oh, wow. Okay. All right. Well, let me hit you once I'm done. So I go back in there. So I'm meeting all the kids at East that's looking to play for me. Now, mind you, I coached a lot of them because I used to be the youth sports director at the YMCA after I graduated college, just, to make ends meet. So I had 2 jobs,
Yeah.
3 jobs at once. I was doing mentoring, youth sports director. I think I might have been working at the Urban League at the time. So with that, I'm meeting all these kids. They're excited for me to be there. But in the back of my head, I'm like, wow, I got an opportunity to possibly be AD. I'm like, okay. So I get out of there and I go with my friend Sheon's house because he lives right around the corner from East. And I tell him what happened. He's like, oh, that's a no-brainer. I'm trying to tell him I'm mixed up. I don't know what to do. He's like, well, which job pay more? I'm like, well, AD. He's like, well, that's a no-brainer. You got to take that job. You know what I mean? Like, that's, what we talking about.
Oh, yeah.
But one of my brother friends who coached college basketball, and I still felt like at the time I had a passion for coaching college basketball, he said, man, don't chase the money. Chase something you love and the money will follow. And that was just echoing the back of my head, like, man, I can take this for the money, but I can do something I love and I can walk on faith and money gonna find me. You know what I mean? Whether I get back into college basketball or something like that. So that night is heavy on my heart, heavy on my mind. I had a dream about it. And my mom had passed at that point, and she came to me in my dream and she just asked me a simple question, like, where your heart at? Where's your heart at? And I had to be honest, I'm like, well, my heart is at St. V. My heart was in coaching, but I felt like my heart was at St. V. And I thought in the back of my mind, I potentially could be AD and coach during that time. And she's like, well, that's an easy decision. Follow your heart. And, so I end up going out for the AD job. Now, mind you, me being me, at first I was a little hesitant. I didn't tell East that I was going for the job, and I was kind of stringing them along. Unbeknownst, I was just scared to put that down and not know if I got the AD job. And so the head of athletic directors at Akron Public Schools called me and asked me if I was going for the job. And I told him no, I lied. I have to be honest, I lied. But then I talked to my brother. He's like, no, you can't lie about it. You got to be honest and forthright. So I called and told him the truth. And I told him if I didn't get the job, I want to coach. If I got the job, I would have to quit. And he's like, well, I can't really wait on that because these kids need a coach. That's not fair to them. I'm like, well, I understand that. When I take my hat out the thing, I stepped down from that. So now I'm all in on athletic director at Saint Vincent Saint Mary, man. And when I tell you, the day of the interview, I had so much nervous energy. I ran like 9 miles. You know what I mean? Like I came back from North Carolina, I was running then. And I ran 4 miles. And then early in the morning, get up, run 4 miles. And then I went over my little checklist, what I'm going to talk about. I had my portfolio together, my branding book, stuff like that. Took my suit to the cleaners, got it out. Then I came back and ran another 3 miles. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm still nervous. So then I go walk the rest. You know what I'm saying? Up to 9 miles. And I'm just, I'm ready for this interview. And the funny thing is, it was the first day, the first series where the Cavs played the Warriors. It was the first day of it. So I go there. I get there 15 minutes early. And when I get there, the Big Sean song is playing. Way up, I feel blessed. And so when I pull up to the
Mm-hmm.
school, so I just sit there and listen to that whole song. And at that time, I felt like it was meant for me to get this job, and I knew I was going to get it. Bullshit you not. You know what I'm saying? And it was just a sign from God to me at that point. So when I come in there, I get there early. I guess the person before me had left, and the president comes sit next to me. He's like, "Oh wow, man, you know this, and this, man. We got the game going on tonight. This, and this. Man, I ain't worried about the game. I'm here for business. I'm here for a reason. You know what I'm saying? So when I come in there, I'm dressed. You know, I got my suit. I'm pressed. I'm ready. They like, "Oh, you look like you ready for a photo shoot." Like, no, not yet. Not till I get the job. I'm here for a reason. You know what I'm saying? They trying to lighten it up. Like, no, I'm focused. I'm locked in. You know what I'm saying? I'm locked in. I need this. This is what I want. So, you know, go through the interview process, man. I felt like I did well. You know, I felt like I was prepared, you know, well prepared. Being an alumni, knowing the culture at the school helped me as well. And as I was leaving, the president walked me out, and the president kind of like, "Man, I ain't saying you got the job, but you got my vote, man. Good job. I feel, you know, give us some time. We'll follow up with you. This, and this, and you know, let me see." Because I interviewed in front of a panel. It was like the president, the
Mm-hmm.
principal, two coaches, the AD that's leaving, the football coach. You know, I interviewed in front of all them, and it's just funny how God prepare you, man. Because I've been on other interviews. I remember the first time I had a panel interview. Because I got the East job when I came back from coaching college. But before I went, I interviewed for it, and I didn't get the job. And I went in front of a panel interview. Now, mind you, it was my second time interviewing with them, and I didn't interview well. I didn't sell myself well enough. I felt like I didn't want to tell them the same thing I told them in the first interview. So I went kind of right, giving them details that was off the subject when I should have continued to be me. And then the first time I went to a panel interview with the Urban League, I was sitting in front of a panel. All women was looking at me. And so I was prepared for that instance when I went in front of them. And then I ended up getting a call later that day saying that I offered me the job, told me I couldn't share with anyone, and could we do breakfast the next morning? And then that's when it kind of really took off, man, honestly, to be honest. And that was 6 years ago. And once again, it's just funny how God put people in your life. I don't know if you remember Etheridge Foster, Big E from New Orleans,
Yeah, I've been
D
Big E.
lineman. One of
Uh-huh.
my good friends I'm
Yep.
still in contact with to today. One of my brothers, man. He going to be in my wedding. Uh, I'm so happy and elated. I shared with him. And I'm like, man, I made it. Just, you know, I got me a job. This, and this. He's like, whoa. This ain't everything, man. This still a stepping stone. This is a good step, but you can go bigger than that. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, you know, you just got the Lincoln. You can still go get the Testarossa, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You still got, it's still more you can
Mm-hmm.
do. So don't get too comfortable. And he just kind of put it in perspective for me before I even started. You know what I mean? So I'm in year 6, man. I'm in a good place. I'm comfortable, but I'm also looking to expand and take that next step and try and grow as a person and an opportunity and employment, man. But I'm blessed to be where I am now. I'm happy where I am, but I also have to be where I am right now as a family and as a future husband. Continue to look for growth. You know.
Yeah, man. Shout out to E, man, and rest in peace to his father, man. I saw his father pass a couple of
Yes.
years ago.
Yeah.
But you said something interesting, man. Like me and my uncle does the Stolen Time podcast with me, and my uncle's 69, so there's a wide difference of age there. So you get the old man wisdom, and then you get the young guy. You know what I'm saying? And like we would go back and forth about the Rooney Rule, right?
Uh-huh.
So I'm making a correlation here. I'm getting there. So like I'm a person who see how the NFL take advantage of the Rooney Rule. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? They just basically pull a black guy in just to get that interview out the way because they already got a coach in mind that they want. So he's from the age of affirmative action. So
Uh-huh.
he's like, he looks at it more like, well, now that they at least getting the interview, at least they know how the interview process goes. So when they go into the interview, they know what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, they're getting experience from, even though they might not get the job, he was like, they're getting the experience of how to handle the interview. And like listening to what you saying, with you going through that process already, being in front of a panel, seeing the mistakes that you made the first time around, you knew not to make them the second time around. But if you never would have got that first one, who knows how the one with Saint Vincent Saint Mary would have went.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
so
I think it's a lot of truth to that, man. And it's funny you say that because we went on the a couples trip this summer with my friend Romeo, Drew, and their wives, me and my fiance. And, now mind you, they are umpteen-year pros overseas. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
15, 16, 17-year pros. Now, Romeo is still playing, but Drew is assistant at Cleveland State University men's basketball team. And they kind of spoke about interviews and stuff like that because they've never went through them. You know what I mean? Now, Grant,
Hmm.
mind you, these are men that I respect. They put in the work. They were able to do something that they love to do, and they have great deal of experience in different avenues, but not when it came to interviewing. So we often spoke about, and I have a different perspective as well because I went through many interviews at this point in my life, but I also hold interviews and hire coaches. So they kind of
Hmm.
spoke to their experience or their lack thereof experience and what they potentially should look for and stuff like that. But so that's interesting. It is. It's a lot of truth to it. If you've never been through stuff, your comfort level is definitely rangy. You may not be as comfortable, or you may be a natural. You may be well prepared. You're going into an interview on something that you are well versed in, or you could be going into something that you need to gain experience in. You may not have the confidence going into it. You see what I'm saying? So with that, I hear you, man. I guess I'm kind of in the middle with that. I hear what you're saying with the Rooney Rule, where they just pulling African Americans in there to say they interviewed them and not really interested in them. But on the flip side, that experience that African American is gaining, when that one day it does come for them to have that opportunity, they well versed because they had experience to go through that interview process. So indirectly, they are helping that individual grow. But on the other side, it could be bullshit because they're not even really interested and they just trying to meet their quota. You know what I'm saying? So it's a
Yep.
gray area. It's a very thin line. You know what I mean? Um, and I think it's something that could be improved on. You know what I'm saying? I think with all the African Americans that's playing in the league and competing and making money for all these franchises, not to have a leader in the locker room or maybe not even a head coach and different, other coordinators and stuff like that. It's hard to believe it's not more minorities in there coaching
Hmm.
and they have the experience. They played in the league. They know what a good coach is like. They know what a bad coach is like. They can go in and implement. So that's a tough one right there. But I know for me, man, I think after I look back on that interview, which was probably the biggest interview to date, I think I leaned on the experiences I had before of getting jobs and not getting jobs and how to go in there confidently and stuff like that and own the moment, man, and be able to sell myself. And once again, like I shared earlier, the experience I went through at Chawan, even though I grew a lot, I learned, I took a lot from it. It wasn't the most ideal spot. Um, I learned the administration side of it. And I could speak to that when I came in on and have an opportunity to be the athletic director of Saint V. I felt like I did a lot of the stuff that was necessary. I just did it for one team on a collegiate level, mind you.
Yeah.
And I think I was able to do it for, at that time, 24 athletic teams on the high school level. You know what I mean? And I spoke confidently about that. And, I got them to believe that I believed in myself.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. And then like so you talked about your recruitment process and all that type stuff and the things that you had to go through, the decisions that you had to make and all of that type stuff. So what is like the feeling now, you know what I'm saying, you being, seasoned and you went through the things you went through. Now you're actually helping kids get into college. So like what is that feeling of like being an AD for 6 years and then it's like now you got these, kids who are actually banking on having a good athletic, director to get them into school. So what is that feeling being part of these kids' life and getting them into college?
Man, it's very rewarding, man. It's very rewarding. And now, mind you, when you say helping get them getting into college, I don't feel like I have that responsibility. Now, I do whatever I can to help and put them in contact with my coaches, but I think I am only as good as my coaches. I think I have some tremendous coaches at St. V that's committed to helping these kids prepare for college and help them get there, as well as a school that's helping them prepare academically and counselors that's helping them. So I don't necessarily think I'm the bridge to get them to college, but I feel like I'm the bridge to help some of these kids get into St. V and stay on them and show that they have someone there that's supporting them and helping them be the best people and holding them accountable for their
Mhm.
actions. But I think our coaches, our administration, and our counselors do a great job of helping them get to college. Now, in that, it's very rewarding to see a kid come in wet behind the ears as a freshman and watch them grow over 4 years and receive a college scholarship, because that's really what they want to do. Now, I think my only credit to that is helping their coaches, obviously prepare for schedules, get to places on time, and helping them on that avenue, which indirectly helps a student athlete. But also, I have an amazing assistant. I can't do this alone. I have an amazing assistant that I tag team with that are, looking over kids' grades, helping them understand that you need to turn their homework, stuff like that. So little avenues like that, we try and bridge the gap and channels like that. But it's probably the most rewarding thing to be on signing day and you see all these student athletes go on to college and have opportunity to continue their collegiate career. And, we've been to college, man, even though it wasn't the ideal spot, it was probably some of the best times of our lives. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
And
yeah.
to have them go off and see what that experience is like. And we have a great alumni matter. So a lot of alumni come back, man. I think that's what makes St. V so special. It keeps it going because people come back and can share their experiences there and really help these kids really get excited to can't wait to have that opportunity to go into college, man. And I love to see student athletes come back and come to games or want to work out the facilities and stuff like that, man. It's probably the most rewarding part of the job, honestly, even though I can't take credit for helping them get to college. More so probably helping some student athletes get into St. V. But then I think our coaches and our administration take them the rest of the way.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And but then I'm saying you're making some of the hires though. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? So you
right,
might not be indirectly, but like you're part of the bridge. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right. No,
So
absolutely.
yeah. So what are the other things that you're like doing in the community? Like you said some things earlier about being involved in like the urban league and all that type stuff. So are you still doing things in the community?
Yes, I am. I'm proud to say I am, man. I think my second year back, man, I got nominated for the Be Me Award, which is a community award, just for things that I was doing in the community at the time. I am a mentor right now with the East Akron YMCA, which I've been doing over 12 years. So I mentor right now,
So,
and I got nominated for that award for mentoring, for being a sports director being the athletic director at the time, because I got it once I came back from coaching college ball at Saint Vincent Saint Mary, and I ended up winning. Man, it was a $10,000 grant, and it was under the Barack Obama initiative, My Brother's Keeper. And the initiative really was, instead of giving funds out to people to do something in the community, they wanted to give funds out to people that were already doing something in the community and to continue to help them grow. And so I won that award my second year or first year back from coaching college ball, first year at St. V. So with that $10,000, I started a nonprofit organization called the Dale Program. And it's an acronym. It was named after my mother, Dale Jean McGee. And it's an acronym for Discipline, Athletics, Leadership, and Education. So with that, I'm so busy during the school year. All my programming is normally during the summertime. So I have a back to school drive that I've been doing probably for the last 5 years. I've teamed up. And one of the things that I learned when I won the award, I had to go to DC for the workshop. And it really, because I really didn't know what it was about. And it really expanded my horizon because it was based out of Akron, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, and Miami. And and they brought people back who formerly won the award. I think I was in the third year of it. So they brought back 2 years of people that won it before from those cities and the people who got nominated and won that present year. And it really just showed me a lot of African Americans that were doing amazing things in their community, man. And it was inspiring. It was an honor to win that award, man. And so when I got a chance to get my $10,000, working with the local Be Me representative, Ace, he helped me kind of groom it into my nonprofit organization. And that's when I came up with naming it after my mother and really just tried to build it on the things that helped me get to where I am. Discipline. Athletics was my driving force. Leadership. I always wanted to be a leader. I was never a follower. You know what I mean? Even going through some of the issues that I had academically, moving from Chicago and having to go to special ed, I never followed nobody. I was always my own person. I always knew who I was. And then that educational component, man, I think that was the biggest one. Overcoming my issues in education were my obstacles becoming opportunities for me to excel and grow my confidence and stuff like that in education, man. I think those are the four pillars, obviously, and it being engulfed in my mother's name meant everything for me. But I do a back to school drive. I've done many things over the year. I've done workshops for kids. I've done things for ladies, etiquette classes and things like that this past year. With the coronavirus going on, a lot of the kids can only get fed during the school year. But once they went on break, Christmas break and spring break and stuff like that, the schools didn't feed them. So me teaming up with other organizations, we were able to feed kids, over 100 kids for a week while they were out of school, things like that for spring break. And I think it was like 2.5 weeks during winter break and stuff like that, teaming up with other organizations. So definitely stuff like that. And that's trying to get back and trying to improve my community and try and be what my brother and my coaches were for me growing up. So I try and use my Dale program as that avenue to help people in the community, whether it be families, children, things like that, putting them in connection with other resources and let's try and get them wraparound services where they need mental health counseling or something like that. I know people that I've worked with, if they need food in the home, I have a relationship with the food bank, trying to get them fed, things like that. If they obviously need school supplies, I'm looking to do a financial literacy class this summer coming up. I've done obviously youth camps. I've done baseball camps for kids, where free camps so kids can come in and get experience from high school coaches from the community. Then we have here at Akron, we have the Cleveland Double A team, the Akron Rubber Ducks. So they have a nice field. So I get them to possibly that may be the first baseball game they go to. They get to go to the batting cages at Saint Vincent Saint Mary. I've held 3-on-3 tournaments with the United Disability Services and gave kids opportunities to come in and participate in those and try and keep them active throughout the summer and stuff. So all the while, still having people come in and talk to them, different people in the community, African Americans, and all on the pillars: discipline, athletics, leadership, and education.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. How difficult was that, during this pandemic, during the COVID? How was it difficult to be able to keep a lot of that stuff going on?
It was difficult. We had to get creative, honestly. We were unable to do the back to school drive this year because they didn't go to school. They were doing it online. So this is the first year in 5 years that we didn't do the back to school drive. So with that, we end up doing essential giveaways. So we were giving away soap, masks, hand sanitizer. We got stuff like that donated. I teamed up with other community organizations and was giving away essential goods. And then it came to over Christmas break, we started teaming up with one of my family, not my family, one of my good friends whose mother owns a restaurant. So we gave away coney dogs and chips and drinks and fruit and stuff like that, and also essential goods and stuff. So we had to get creative, man. But I think I work with a great team that have the insight of having to feel on the community and what they need. Even though we couldn't do what we planned on doing, there was still needs in the community, and we were able to fill in those gaps.
That's what's up, man. Sound like you got a great team of people with you, man. That's what's up. Y'all doing great work, man.
I appreciate
Also,
that.
man, so more than a game. So that came out 2008, and like so when it comes to more than a game, was this a situation where you recognize how important y'all's high school run was? So and then all of the filming and the cameras around. Did you knew this was something that was gonna happen? It was just a matter of when or what?
No, not at all. Honestly, man, this all started our senior year. So we had lost our junior year, so we got a little tighter our senior year. We had all the media and the hoopla our junior year, so our coach was very cautious with us our senior. Obviously, with LeBron being on the team and all the accolades and all the success that we had the 3 previous years, and us losing our junior year state championship, we tried to stay focused our senior year. But it was a Walsh University student, which is a D2 school here in Canton, Ohio, and he was locally from Akron. He reached out to coach and asked if he had a little short film he had to do for his class, and he asked if he could come in and do it on us. And coach, unbeknownst, he was really the only media allowed in that year. He came in and coach allowed him to do it. And he was a good guy, man. He was a cool guy. He was down to earth, and he was young. So we were comfortable around him. So coach let him on the bus, come in the locker rooms at times, and we were just able to be ourselves. And that's really where it all started. And not until maybe midway through our freshman year, he reached out to us and kind of spoke to, like, man, this could be a great documentary. Um, People seen my film and they thought that, you know, this thing could grow. What did you all think? And obviously, I thought it would be great. Rome and Drew thought it'd be great. He actually came to West Virginia with someone and took me, Wendell, and Nick out to eat to Outback and kind of spoke to what his vision was for making this movie come alive. And but he didn't have a connection with LeBron, so we kind of pitched it to LeBron. Well, no, honestly, at first we sent him to Maverick, which is his manager, and Maverick
Mm-hmm.
really initially didn't see the vision on it, so he really didn't uh, take it and run with it, honestly. But us being friends with LeBron, really went to Bron and spoke to him from a friendship perspective. Like, man, you need to lay eyes on it and see what you think. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
and get a perspective on him. I think we think he got some here, and he got some good footage. And he says, you know, it can really come alive with all the pictures and memorabilia and home videos that we gave to him. He can compile it and really make it happen. And I remember that like yesterday. So LeBron laid eyes on it and he seen the vision, and then Maverick got on board and really took off from there. And LeBron is, you know, kind of spoke to, he doesn't necessarily want to be a part of something. He or want to be in something. He want to be a part of it. So then his Spring Hill film took off and they kind of ran it through that and joined it. And then anything Bron touches it, it takes off. Interscope was a part of it, Coca-Cola, you know what I mean? And the little film went into the film Toronto Film Festival, took off. We went on, I think it was a 9-city tour. I was able only to go to 5 of them here in the States. I think it was Akron, Baltimore, Chicago, New York, and Los Angeles. But they ended up going to China and France and all that. But I was in school getting my master's, so I couldn't go overseas with them. But and you know, anything Brown touch it just explodes, and that's kind of how More Than the Game took off, honestly. So to say when it first was presented to us, like, yeah, I did think it could be something big, but I didn't know how big it. I didn't know if it would get to this point, honestly. If I'm gonna be honest with you, but you know, after going through the process and seeing it, it was really unbelievable, man. Everybody was all in. We gave them, you know, a lot of that stuff. They didn't start filming that when we were younger. That was all home video that they cut up and put animation in and
Mm-hmm.
made it come to life, man. And it was just a great film. Chris Bellman did a great job. Kudos to him, really making it come alive. And you know, Interscope put the music on there, and you know, it took off. It was hot fire.
Oh yeah, that it was. It was so wild to be like, like to go back and watch it, and then like because I told like a few of the guys that's part of my team, I was like, yo, I was like, I reached out to Willie, and he said that he would agree to do it, and I was like, but the thing about Willie, I was like the whole time I was at Fairmont State, he never said anything about playing high school ball with LeBron, and
Uh-huh.
I was like, that just seemed like a type of dude who was just like, yo, I'm not that whole Howard story
Uh-huh.
that makes sense. That makes sense because like when you were there, you never said anything about it. You didn't act a certain way. You were just another dude on campus.
Right.
And like, but what you went through as far as like a high school career, I mean, like you was like a full fledged celebrity. You had to be at Saint Vincent Saint Mary. So like, what was it like being like just a flat out celebrity, man, like in your hometown like that?
Man, it's humbling, man. It's humbling, and you know, I guess I always kept stuff in perspective, man. I wasn't LeBron, you know, I wasn't LeBron. LeBron was LeBron. I was a piece of the puzzle, and I understood my role, and you know, I felt it was valuable. Let me say that. But I was always me, man. I was always me. But the run that we went on was amazing, man. It playing with LeBron and being a part of that team opened doors for me that you know I possibly may never open again. It offered experiences to me and put me around people that I may never be around again. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe around later, but it was experience that was amazing. You know, and it was just amazing. Going to sold out arenas, you know, selling out UCLA Arena, Pauley Pavilion, selling out Ohio State Arena, Value City selling out the Gund Arena, the Cleveland Cavs Arena. It was just amazing experiences coming in the team you playing and all of you, you won the game before you even played. You know what I mean? To celebrities coming into the locker room, selling out the venue in Pittsburgh, and Jerome Bettis and Plaxico Burress coming in to, traveling with LeBron, going to Vegas and going to Jay-Z and Rihanna concert, then going backstage with them. You know what I mean? Going to 50 Cent concert, meeting 50. Like, man, it was just meet Beyonce at All-Star Weekend. It's just, it's stuff that was really amazing, man. But our motto was always, man, act like you've been there before, man. You know what I mean? So you never make stuff bigger than what it is, and you are where you're supposed to be. So great experiences. I mean, stuff I never really bragged about or shared or felt like just because I went through it, it made me better than somebody else I was around. It just made me who I was, man, honestly. And, the friends and people I hung out with, they knew. And, really everybody on campus knew. But that don't mean I'm somebody I'm not. You still got to get to know me. And granted, it's a great icebreaker. You know what I mean? It's a great icebreaker when you meet people they already know, and you got conversation, you can talk and stuff like that. And, just always taking stuff for what it is, man, not making it bigger than what it is, but not diminishing it at all, man. I'm blessed to have those opportunities that have Brian as one of my brothers and share those experiences with me, but it was an amazing time, man. Honestly, it is hard to be sponsored by Nike in high school and taking planes and buses to places. Then you come to Fairmont and you sponsored by Rawlings, and we taking buses everywhere to the planes. Like, man, it's different. You know what I mean? I can't even hold you. I'm gonna keep it a being with you, man. It's different. It's but it's it's experiences, man. Everybody ain't got those experiences. Drew and Rome went to Akron. It wasn't the same experience as high school. That's a very unique experience. You know what I mean? Obviously, Shion went to Ohio State and had some of those amenities, but it wasn't the same experience as high school, man. And it was something that made me who I am, man. It really expanded my horizons. Opportunities to travel and see the world and meet people and help them help me understand that they the same as me. Meeting celebrities that have some of the same likes and dislikes as me, but they still human. I think a lot of things in this day and age, you make people bigger than what they really are. You know what I mean? Because they're on the tube, but they tie their shoes just like you. They got to eat, they got to shit, they got to sleep just like you, or they ain't gonna be regular. You know what I'm saying? They are just gifted with a talent that a lot of people ain't gifted. You know what I mean? And in those, I've met a lot of people that have taken advantage of their opportunities, and some that had that opportunity that didn't take advantage of it and have had to scale back because they weren't able to maintain that lifestyle or nurture their talent to the fullest. So it's a very to be who I am and keep stuff in perspective and be the best person I can be. You know what I mean? You can't be LeBron, you can't be Drew. All I can be is Willie, and that's who I am, man. I'm a humble, hardworking, loving, confident guy, man. You know what I'm saying? You can't come around and tell me that's because you got this, and this, you better than me. I don't believe it. You know what I'm saying? And I can't, and I would never do that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for
stand
sure.
for something. Don't fall into the crowd. Know who you are. Stuff like that.
Yeah, man, like it had to be because like down like from like watching. All right, cool. But what I was saying was like, man, there had to be a huge cultural shock, to be on that level, like in high school, and then to go down because like people really you don't know Fairmont State unless you've been there, especially the time that we was there. Like they got to come up, you know what I'm saying?
Oh
Like
yeah,
because
they
it was
much
some
better
stuff.
now.
Yeah, it looks good, but still, like I remember Mark telling me that like the pants that we got came from his high school down at
Really?
Fairmont State's high school.
Yeah.
Not Fairmont State, but Florida State's high school. Not even like the junior, nothing like the high school. Because Mark went to Florida State's private high school,
Uh-huh.
and he was like, "That's where they got our pants for games."
Hey, now that's
So
crazy because they sold me on. I thought those were Florida State old pants, but you say they was the high school pants.
that was the high school pants. That's what that's what Mark was telling me. So it's just like you coming from that type of situation,
Yeah.
to going into, well, coming from where you was coming from, and then also playing with somebody like at the caliber player that LeBron was. It's just like, I mean, because I don't remember if well, you wasn't on my team, but did you ended up get on doing some of the intramural games?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I played intramurals. We won 2 years. Then I lost. I dislocated my shoulder my last year, and we lost. But we won 2 years in a row.
Yeah, like we had put together one team. Oh, I can't remember who was all on my team, but like, so I played like a year or whatnot. But then it's like also when you on the court with just like dudes that are just balling, and it's like, dude, I just played with, what I'm saying, the person that's considered like literally like the best person, what I'm
Right.
saying, to play ball, and it's just like, and then like even a person like him, and to like see like the microscope that they had put on y'all as like high school students, because like you were just in it by default because you was on the team, and not only not on the team, but like you've been playing AAU ball since what, it was 13, wasn't it?
Well, yeah. No, we played rec ball together. We've been playing. We have been playing together since 8 to 10. Yeah. So I mean, I've been
Ah
playing with
man, that,
Brian for years now. Then we had a gap. We didn't play for 2 years, and I came back and started playing with him sixth grade year. Um, But man, it's funny, man. It's funny. We did a lot of winning, but me and Marlon got into it one day, and he told me I wasn't doing enough on the team, and told me what other people were saying at the intramurals and stuff like that, and about, oh, he played with Brian, he's not this, this, and this. I'm like, man, we winning games. What who I gotta be? I don't gotta be LeBron. I don't gotta. I'm doing. First of all, I'm doing better than you. So how can you tell me who I'm not? So if I'm not who I'm supposed to be, who are you? First of all, don't tell me what another person told you. You know what I'm saying? Tell me what you doing. You know what I mean? Because half the stuff you getting is because of me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can try and go be something I'm not, but I'm trying to win games. Do what it takes to win games. We had a team. You make shots. I'm kicking the ball to you. If you ain't making shots, I ain't kicking it to you. You know what I'm saying? But don't forget who the ball
yeah.
coming from. So it's funny, man. Everybody got different perspectives. You played when you supposed to been better than who you were and stuff like that. But we winning games. I'm getting my money. We winning. We scoring. But everybody got, and that's the thing. If you fall into trying to do what other people expect of you, want you to do, then you never who you are. I'm who I am. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, I'm all about winning, man. You know what I'm saying? So if you need me to score, I'm gonna score. You need me to rebound, distribute, I'm a rebound, distribute. I'm gonna do what the team need me to do. You know what I'm saying? But intramurals was a great time, man. Great time filler once the season was over, and trying to stay in some shape for real. Competitive. I enjoy intramurals, man. I think we played 3 years or something like that. But good times, man. But like you said, man, when you play with one of the best players ever to lace them up, it gives you an air of confidence that you can walk in any room and belong and things like that. But you also got to remember who you are and where you came from, and uh, like you said, it's hard, or like I said earlier, it's hard to come from being sponsored by Adidas and getting Nike stuff and traveling, then coming to West Virginia. But you have to get grips of who you are and where you at, and make the best of it. You know what I mean? I was still proud to be on scholarship for free and playing college ball. And it comes a time once you're in college, man, everybody get there. But at the end of the day, if you're not becoming a pro, you working like everybody else, making money, trying to provide for your family, man. Coming out, you don't went D1, you don't went D2, but you working with somebody that was D3, making the same money and trying to provide and clocking in, clocking out every day. And even the ones that's made a pro, they doing the same thing, man. It ain't easy getting up every day, putting your body through that, and having to perform at a high level. And people think it look easy, and you getting paid well, but it's still some pressure on you. You know what I'm saying? So everybody doing their part, trying to be the best of them, and putting. At the end of the day, you can't cheat work, man. You putting the work in, and you get out of it what you put in it.
Oh yeah, man. I broke my wrist in the mirror ball, man.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Going
Hey
too
man,
hard, huh?
we was dusting somebody, man. And like, so I come on a fast break, you know what I'm saying? They get me on the fast break. And like I'm the person, like I'm going through like anxiety of like, oh, what type of dunk I'm gonna do? I gotta do something, because when this fast break is different, you know what I'm saying? You
Uh-huh.
gotta do something.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going through my mind what I want to do, and then I just end up going one hand, and then I changed my mind and went two. and my momentum was going so fast. So when you dunk, like you kind of got to swing yourself back so you don't fall
Right.
awkwardly.
Right.
Well, while I swung myself back, I slipped off the rim,
Oh.
and then like I landed like like you're doing like a push up. Like I used my hands to brace my fall.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm thinking I'm good still. I was like, oh, I'm good. Everybody, like, you straight? I'm like, I'm straight. I seen a little bit of stars, but I ain't telling nobody.
Right.
And so,
Football player.
yeah, exactly. So I'm thinking I'm all good. And so before I went to bed, I'm like, man, like my wrist hurt. And then I wake up, man, it's like a baseball in there. But I mean, my wrist was swole up. And then I ended up going through an orthopedic, and he was just like, he was like, yo, he was like, I mean, you fractured a bone in your wrist. He was like, it's actually the worst bone you can put it in. And at the time, I fractured the same bone that Steve Slayton did.
Oh, really? From
Yeah,
West Virginia, running
yeah,
back.
yeah. I went to the same doctor in Morgantown that he went to,
Uh-huh.
and he was like, man, you could do what he did. He was like, we could put two pins in it. You could be back on the field. He was like, oh, we could go with this cast. You have to wear a cast for 6 months. And then, like, at the time, the girl was pregnant.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? I had some money issues. And then it was just like, man, I mean, should I take care of this child, or should I try to get the surgery and keep playing ball? So I was
Right.
just like, man, you know what? I'm just going to put the pads down,
Uh-huh.
take care of this kid, get a job and all that type stuff. But in the mules, man, it was a time. But, hey, it got competitive out there.
Oh, it was competitive. You got motherfuckers that can play, that can't play, that's competing, that think they good. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
I
yeah.
never had them dunking problems. I wasn't dunking like that. Hey, 2 points was 2 points for me, but yeah, it was highly competitive for real.
Oh yeah, man. Those were the times, man. But it's got to be like when it comes to like playing ball, man, like something that you love, you know, and then to be able to be in the circle, what I'm saying, the circles that you're around, because like, dude, we actually think, very similar to about like the way I feel about like, cause I've always tell people like if I've never really met a lot of celebrities, what I'm saying, been to a couple of comedy shows, has some, well not MVP, but VIP tickets, met guys backstage and like all them coolest for like the coolest people I ever met is Carlos Miller, DC, Young Fly, and Chico Bean. Like they like the most down to earth dudes, man. Like we were backstage chopping it up, man. Carlos and Chico, they did a video for my son because my son loves Wildin' Out.
Uh-huh.
And so I was like, yo, it'll make my son day if y'all made a little video saying, what's up to him. Man, they took my phone, made the video for him, all that stuff. So like that was really cool. But like just the fact of like I look at it like, yo, y'all shit just like I do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like y'all are regular people. Y'all just got more talent and y'all made it to an area that I didn't make it in. And for you to actually be in that circle and like you rambled off a list of like people that you've been around, but then at the same day, you like, yo, you ain't better than me just because you either got more talent or you got more money and
Oh
all
yeah,
that type of situation.
absolutely.
But
You got to have that confidence in yourself, man. First and foremost, and understand, man. Everybody human, man. Everybody human, and I think that really all just started when we competed in athletics, man. I don't care who you are or where you come from. You have to compete today. You know what I'm saying? You ain't played me yet. You know what I'm saying? Now, granted, people are gifted, but shit, you still got to compete. And or when you come in line, man, you know. You got a range of people with emotions and how they feel and how they carry themselves and stuff like that. I like to be around real people, man. I like to be around real people, but I can deal with any and everybody. You know what I'm saying? Um, and the ability to so sometimes you gotta be the one to humble them. You know what I mean? But the reality of it is, man, as long as you know who you are when you step in the room, it shouldn't matter who you in there with. You know what I'm saying? Good, bad, or indifferent. The ability to hold a conversation, articulate feelings and stuff like that can come with experience or comfort levels and stuff. But the ability just to be able to mingle or sit down or be around people, man, it's and really you just learning people. Everybody different. They may be cocky, conceited, this, and this, but you can hey, you can be around some people that don't got nothing, they ain't never did nothing, they still be cocky and conceited. You know what I'm saying?
oh
That's
yeah.
that's that's you know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
real. That's a person's personality, you know what I'm saying? But how do you deal with that? How do you combat that? How you know what I'm saying? This, and this. So sometimes you gotta meet people where they at. Shit. I got stuff I can talk about, but That don't make me no
Yeah.
better than, but shit, we can talk shit, swallow spit any time of the day, shit.
Yes, sir.
That's part of the good game.
Yeah, man. Hey, sincerely, man, like, you like all the work that you're doing, man, in your community and all the things that you've done, since college, man. You definitely you winning out in life. You helping kids. People don't understand like, the significance of like being who you were, what I'm saying, in the Akron area, playing on the team that you played for, the people that you met to come back and help your community the way you are, man. I want to commend you for that. I mean, you're definitely a real one. Um, like I say, down to earth person. Like I remember one guy, we played football with a guy whose brother was in the major leagues. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
Swisher.
And yeah, man, and I mean, he never done anything to me personally, but I seen him talk to some people before, and it was, what I mean, it was like, what I'm saying, you ain't your brother, but
Right.
you know what I
Right.
mean.
No,
But
that's real. That's real.
yeah, but you know what I'm saying. But you are a real dude, man. To have played with, what I'm saying, the greatest player to lace him up. And I'm not saying that because you on here. I've always been a huge LeBron James fan. Like I big him up on the podcast all the time. I've gotten to a point where it's just like, when you, because like we all the same age, and
Hmm.
it's like like when you get older, when you get our age, you start being like, yo, you have to appreciate somebody's greatness. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
No, you're
And
absolutely right,
like and
man.
and like that's where I am. Like, cause now I think that it depends on what the situations are. I got different. I view the game a little different. Like, cause one person, I appreciate what he do, but I don't think he's the greatest. But like a lot of people saying Tom Brady's the greatest, I'm like, to me he's not. You know what I
Right.
mean? To me, I just view differently. You know what I'm saying? I use the eye test, and I just don't think that he's just as great. I'm saying that to say, what I'm saying, like a guy like LeBron, like, the things that he do not only on the court but off the court, what I'm
Absolutely.
saying, are phenomenal. But like you're doing those things, but it's not as publicized. It's not probably as the biggest. It's not on that level. I mean, this man built the school. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So, but the things that you're doing, it's all part of the chess piece, man. And
Yeah.
I wanted to, commend you for that, man. From what I can see from afar, you're doing a great job. And anytime I can get anybody, on the podcast, like I appreciate anybody who jump on the podcast, like,
Right.
especially like when it comes to the Stolen Time podcast. Like I came up with that name by saying that like this podcast world, man, is it's a lot of podcasts, a lot of celebrities, a lot of athletes got podcasts. And
Uh-huh.
when I started this 4 years ago, I had this thing in my head of, well, if you took the time out of your day to listen to my podcast, I didn't earn your time, I've stolen your time.
Right.
So that's how I came up with the name, the
That's dope.
Stolen Time Podcast. So, for anybody to come on, I'm truly appreciative. But for you to come on, what I'm saying? Like I said, I've been seeing from afar. We haven't, been in contact or nothing like that. And for you to come on, man, I truly appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
I appreciate the opportunity, man. Like I said, man, want me on and invite me means everything to me, man. Like you can have anybody on here, man. I'm clocking in, clocking out daily like everybody else, man. Like we opened up before you even start recording, man. The grind don't stop, man. I'm just trying to be better today than I was yesterday, and I don't want my claim to fame just to be what I did in high school and who I played with, man. I want to continue to grow and be present and be relative in the moment here and share my family and my city and my community, stuff like that, man. And I think there's opportunities out here for everyone to be present if you're willing to put the work in and have the vision to see the opportunities and be able to fill in the gaps, man. So I appreciate you having me on, man. If you need anything moving forward, or if you around the city, or you got your guy in Dayton, if you're around, man, let me know. We can get together, man.
All right, man, for sure, man. I'm gonna hold you to that. And I appreciate you coming on, Willie, man. You a straight up stand up guy. I appreciate everything that you're doing out here in the community. And until the next time, man, we got to stay in contact a little bit more, man. Like it's
Absolutely, man. I
been
got your number. I'll lock you in, man. I'll let everybody know. Obviously, the homies, I'm still in group chats with Wendell, Big E, Sean, Vito, Big Joe, man. All of them, I'll let them know. I hollered at you, man, and let me know or share this with me, and I'll share this with them, man. And, reach out to them too, man. They all doing well, man. Wendell, a detective in Miami. Obviously, you know the work he put in at Fairmont. Went to the
Mm-hmm.
Hall of Fame. McGee, he's the athletic director right now down in New Orleans. Vito's a lawyer right now, still in Fairmont. Big
Mm-hmm.
Joe, he's vice president, not vice president, a director in Pittsburgh at FedEx or UPS right now. Man, everybody's doing well. Sean's out in Buffalo, so everybody's doing well, man.
That's good, man. I would appreciate that, man. Shout out to all those guys. I actually remember all those guys. Like it's wild how the brain works, man. But I'm friends with a good bit of them still,
Uh-huh.
like on Facebook and stuff like that. You know, when you see some of the things that some of the guys are doing, man. So
Yep.
everybody's doing good, man. But I wanted to highlight you, man, because like like even besides like the LeBron stuff, it's just like just the other things that you're doing, you know what I'm saying? And you just a real stand-up dude, man. So I wanted to highlight you today. And I'm definitely gonna put this episode out today. I share it with you, tag you in it on social media and all those type things.
Absolutely. And I'll definitely share, man. I appreciate the love. And you stay
All
up,
right,
man. All right.
all right, you too, Willie.
Yep.
Appreciate you.
Yep. Take care.
All right, you too. So, man, I appreciate Willie for coming on to the podcast, man. Great pod there. Before I get out of here, man, shout out to Uncle Washington. He's going through some health things right now. He's fine though, people. Everything is good. But I'm not sure when he's going to be back on the podcast. So be on the lookout for the return of Uncle Washington. Love my guy, Uncle Washington. Shout out to Scoots Bronson, my co-host of Viewers Anonymous. You know what I'm saying? We putting them out every week. We just did episode 3 of season 4 of Snowfall. The episode is gonna be coming out soon. So be on the lookout for the new Viewers Anonymous podcast. Also, man, shout out to Casey. I appreciate everything Casey do for the podcast. Shout out to Candace, man. Shout out to Jamar. Shout out to Mark, who was mentioned earlier on this podcast. So definitely shout out to that dude. Be on the lookout for him. Don't have him on here soon. Also, shout out to Nate, man. Came on the last 28 minutes or less podcast with me. Shout out to Nate for coming through. And, I appreciate everybody for listening. Like I mentioned earlier, this is a double feature. If I'm not mistaken, this is episode 203 of the Stolen Time podcast and episode 38 of the 28 minutes or less. And your boy is out.